In last class, we have discussed some of the basics concept about the chemotherapy. So basic definitions, what is chemotherapy, then background, what is bacteria, what is fungi, then history, and if it is the cell means what is the four critical properties, all those things we have discussed in the last class. So in this class, today in this class, we are going to discuss about some of the further basic concepts. So I hope I will start with the classification. Uh, Normally, our entire antibiotics has been classified based upon different parameters. So, example, chemistry wise, mechanisms wise, based upon chemistry wise and mechanisms wise, and durations and spectrum. So, broad spectrum, narrow spectrum, otherwise specific organism wise, antibacterial, antifungal, antimicrobacterial, anti-malarial, anti-TB. So, based upon organisms, also they can classify the drugs. In common classification, that's well known and well established classification is based upon the chemistry classification. So based upon chemistry wise, the majorly it's classified into the beta lactam antibiotics. uh, in beta lactam antibiotics, these are the important things: penicillins and cephalosporins, and macrolide antibiotics, quinolones, glycopeptides, aminoglycoside antibiotics, chloramphenicol and tetracycline, and sulfonamides. So I give the some basic example based upon the mechanisms, because this antibiotics is may work on different mechanisms. So I will give the four important mechanisms. The first one is going to inhibit the cell wall synthesis. The example drugs are penicillin, cephalosporin. The both category of drugs, beta lactam antibiotics, the both the categories of drugs is going to inhibit the cell wall synthesis, and inhibit the some of the drugs is comes under the protein synthesis and cell permeability, cell membrane. It's going to affect the cell membrane formation. So because of that, it's going to increase the cell permeability. Due to that mechanism, it's producing antibacterial effect. And some of that drugs is directly is going to target the DNA synthesis. That means it's going to cell cycle process, cell reproduction process. So the drugs may act on different mechanisms also. I hope in last class we have discussed this slide. So based upon the mechanisms in easy picture representation is here. So the first one is, you can see here the cell wall, the cell, it's a best example for the prokaryotes. So it's having a cell wall, then cell membrane. As usual, it's having a DNA. So the prokaryotes is doesn't having a nucleus. So the DNA material is just scattered on the cytoplasmic regions. So it's a DNA sequence. Then apart from that, it's own having each and every cells is capable to synthesize own product, raw materials. The needs, based upon the needs, is going to synthesize the own material for the survival of the those organisms. So our drug, it may act on different mechanisms, the particularly 5 different mechanisms. So cell wall synthesis, it may act on the cell wall synthesis, otherwise cell membrane. This is the second layer, is a cell membrane. The third one is it may act on the inhibit the nucleic acid replications. That means survival. The organisms, it's continuously is going to reproduce its own sister and daughter cells, own identical cells. So the reproduction process also is going to inhibit, means we can control the replication of the organisms. Then another one mechanism, it's going to inhibit the protein synthesis. The protein synthesis is nothing but it's a inhibit the translation process, because for the survival of the organism, it's going to synthesize the own protein substance for the various process, for the metabolic process and various pathways. So if our drugs is going to inhibit those protein synthesis, the protein means the enzymes, whatever the material, for those mechanisms we can inhibit the microbes or kill the microbes. Then last one, fifth one is it's going to inhibit the essential metabolic pathways. The same thing is for the survival process, the organism is going to synthesize the own material to survival the process. So for those case, our drugs, example sulfonamides category drugs, and the trimethoprim, cotrimoxazole, these are the drugs is going to inhibit the metabolic product. So the organism can't able to utilize those product. Because of the starvation, the organism is lead to die. So because of these five different mechanisms, your entire antibiotics, it may comes under this five category. This is the five mechanism. For simply you can memorize that. If you want to write any drug mechanism, means if it is must be comes under this five category: cell wall inhibition, cell membrane, and inhibit the cell replications, or protein synthesis, or metabolic pathway. Apart from that, you have to memorize some of the unique mechanism where it's going to exactly bind, where it's going to exactly inhibit those enzymes. That's important. So I will give you the first mechanisms example. So this is a cell wall structure. So you know that in second year of biotechnology itself, maybe you have studied. So the difference between the gram positive and gram negative organism, what does the thing means? The gram positive organism, it's made up of a high number of peptidoglycogen layers. So that's the reason our target, particularly the beta lactam antibiotics, it's very effective against the gram positive organism, because these are the drugs. It's going to inhibit the, particularly is going to inhibit the interlinkage, that means cross linkage of peptidoglycogen layer. So the peptidoglycogen layer is a, it's arranged different layers, is interlocked between each and every peptidoglycan molecule. So the cell membrane, it's becoming a very tight how can I say that, tightly framed. So our drug beta lactam antibiotics is exactly is going to inhibit those cross linkage. So the peptidoglycogen is not tightly arranged, it's going to loosely arranged. So because it's easily susceptible for easy to our antibiotics, so it's lead to cell death. So the same manner, each and every antibiotics may act on some unique mechanisms. So in beta lactam antibiotics, we will discuss this exact mechanisms and all. So in protein synthesis, the second step, same example I given here, the protein synthesis. The protein synthesis means based upon the genetic code, the mRNA is released from the gene, otherwise from the DNA. The mRNA is going to bound with the ribosomes. The ribosomes is going to synthesize the protein. So based upon the genetic code present on the mRNA, the tRNA is going to donate the protein substance. The ribosomes is going to arrange the sequence of amino acids. So it's made into a protein. That protein it may used for several purpose. If it's made, the protein may be enzyme, so it's involved for the catalytic reactions, otherwise biosynthesis of some other material. So those are the proteins is very essential for the survival of the organism. So our drug is going to inhibit those protein synthesis process. So that's a mechanism. So the translation process is nothing but from the DNA, the mRNA is going to form. From the mRNA, based upon the mRNA, this mRNA is going to bound with the ribosomes. So on help of tRNA, the protein is going to form. So our drugs, you can see here, these are the four different categories of drugs: aminoglycosid antibiotics, tetracyclines, chloramphenicol, and erythromycin. These are the four different categories of drugs is going to inhibit the protein synthesis. But you have the mention some different mRNA to 30S ribosomes and 50S ribosomes. What is exactly, what is difference 30S and 50S ribosome means? It is nothing but it's a subunits of ribosomes. So those things we have seen next slide, further slides. So you can see here, this is a prokaryotic ribosome. Actually, this is a 70S ribosome. The prokaryotic ribosome is, it's called a 70S ribosome. So it's having a two functional unit. One is 30S subunit and another one is 50S subunit. So the 70S ribosomes is a present on prokaryotes. Prokaryotes means bacteria. So it's having a two subunits, made up of two subunits. One is 30S, another one is 50S ribosome. So one is when the mRNA is released from the DNA, transcription process completed, the mRNA is going to comes to this ribosomal point. So the ribosomes is going to catch the mRNA. So this is a codon region. This is mRNA codon region. So based upon this codon region, the tRNA is going to bound. So the which amino acid going to synthesize, that has been present, the genetic formula is present on the mRNA. So based upon this code, the exact tRNA is come, it's going to donate the protein substance. You can see here, the tRNA is going to having amino acids. When it's going to join, that time that protein has been one by one is going to join together. That means amino acids are one by one is going to join together. Then it's made up of an entire polypeptide. It may be the proteins or enzymes, whatever it is. So this is the process. Here you can see here your chloramphenicol, our chloramphenicol drug, it's going to bind with 50S portions. Whatever it is, if you know, if you don't know the exact mechanisms in bacteria wise, if you don't know exact mechanism where it's going to bind, means you simply or blindly you can write these are the drugs. This drugs is going to bind with 70S ribosomes, is going to inhibit the protein synthesis. That is more than enough, because the 70S ribosome is having subunits, 2 subunits. Wherever it is going to bind, it's called a 70S. So if you don't know exact place, you have simply write down 70S ribosomes. If you know well, you can write the specific subunit. The chloramphenicol is going to bind with 50S portions. This is the 50S portion. So in 50S portion, what is there? It's a inhibit the formation of peptide bond, because in this region only the tRNA is going to bound, it's going to donate the amino acids. The amino acids are one by one, it's going to join together, it's going to form a polypeptides. That's a enzymes or protein substance. So your 50S ribosomes, that's a responsible for this activity. Our drug chloramphenicol, it's going to inhibit those activity, 50S ribosomes. So that sequence is going to inhibit. In vice versa, you can see here, in streptomycin and tetracycline case, the streptomycin, it's going to change the shape of 30S portions, because the 30S portions, it's very, very essential, because your tRNA, the transfer RNA, is going to donate the amino acids. It's exactly is going to bind with the 30S place, because based upon that genetic code region present on mRNA, then on your tRNA is going to bound. So our streptomycin drugs, aminoglycan antibiotics, it's going to change the shape of the 30S portions. So once the conformational changes there, means our tRNA can't able to bind with mRNA. So that means the entire polypeptide chain formation is going to block. That is second mechanism. In that way, tetracyclines, it's going to interfere the attachment of tRNA to mRNA. The same thing. One is peptide formation is going to block. Second one is change the shape. The third one is the ribosomal complex. Once the tRNA and mRNA complex is there, that complex has been inhibited by the tetracycline. So once the drug may interfere the ribosomal process in different mechanisms. Okay. So the third one is intermediate metabolic process. We have already said that sulfonamides. We know that the folic acid is one of the very, very essential compound to survival of the organism and cell. So those sulfonamide biosynthesis process has been inhibited by the the folic acid biosynthesis. The folic acid biosynthesis has been inhibited by our sulfonamide, because it's both of them having a similar structure. The sulfonamide is having a similar structure with the folic acid raw material. The raw material nothing but para-amino benzoic acid. So because of the same similar structure, instead of BABA, our drug sulfonamides is going to incorporate with the biosynthesis process. So it's going to inhibit the formation of folic acid. Because of this phenomena, we can inhibit the formation of folic acid synthesis. Because lack of folic acid synthesis, the organism can't able to survive and replicate. So that's one of the major mechanisms. So these are the different mechanisms. The fourth one mechanism is nucleic acid synthesis. We know that the nucleic acid synthesis is nothing but during cell cycle process or cell replication process, the organism is going to divided into multiple numbers. So during the cell division process, each cell is going to multiplied as a unique conversion. It's multiplied into two different daughter cells. The two cells are unique information. The genetic information was unique. So that means whenever it's undergone the cell replication process, the same genetic information has been passed into the next generation daughter cell. So that means during cell replication process, the nucleic acid, the DNA is also is going to replicate. It's going to pass into the next generation cell. So once we are going to hinder those process to passage of the genetic information, otherwise the nucleic acid DNA for replication process means simply we can inhibit the viable organism formations. Once the replication is hindered, otherwise misreading means it's never going for the next process. That means cell replication process is going to hinder. So because of this phenomena, we can inhibit the microbes. So this is another one mechanisms. So based upon mechanisms, I have listed out some important drugs. So when you can come across the specific subunit, at that time you can memorize. We have discussed so many things. Yes. So I wanna emphasize this basics concept about the cell cycle. These are the things also you have already studied in your second year. Otherwise, maybe Jayakant sir also maybe explain. So it's my concern for my satisfaction. I want to explain this slide because this is the basic concept for each and every step. Entire your chemotherapy chapter, it comes to this point because we want to control the organism. So the cell cycle is nothing but the cell is going to undergo the multiplication process. The one cell is going to divide it into two different cells. That process is called as cell cycle. Simply we can say cell multiplication process or cell division process. So it may differ based upon the cell type of cell, eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells. It's made the different enzymes has been involved. So the same enzymes not involved for the two process. The eukaryotic cell divisions and the prokaryotic cell division is totally different. The steps are may common, but the involvement of enzymes may differ. Okay, that's a major thing. So what is exactly happen? We know that simply we know that each and every cell is having some unique number of chromosomes. If the example our human cell is having a 46 chromosome, otherwise 23 pair of chromosomes. So you can see that in out of 46 chromosomes, this is a one chromosome. You just imagine this is a one chromosomes. So this is unreplicated, uncondensed chromosomes. The condensed chromosomes means the chromosomes are wind up with the histone proteins for the reduce the size, then only it's going to condense with nucleus. So for in prokaryotic cells, the scene is entirely different because it doesn't having a histones. So it's simply scattered on the nucleus or cytoplasmic region. So this is a unreplicated, uncondensed chromosomes. Okay. So during cell division process, the single chromosomes has been multiplied into two. That means it's going to synthesize in a new chromosomes. Before cell division process, it's going to form a chromatin, replicated uncondensed chromosomes. Okay, so after at the end of cell replication, the single chromosomes has been multiplied into two. During cell division process, exactly the prophase, metaphase, anaphase we have in a mitotic process. In that step, the two multiplied chromosomes has been cleaved into two individual chromosomes. The two individual chromosomes has been donated into two different cells. So that's a scenario. So during cell division process, this is a basic principle. The chromosomes are multiplied, then is going to donate into two different cells. So this is a calibrate process. So in this process, we know that it's having a major step is S phase. The S phase is nothing but it's a synthetic phase. S is called as synthetic phase. Exactly, your chromosomes are synthesized. That means it's going to double in this phase only. That means synthetic phase. G1 phase means it's called as pre-synthetic phase. So for synthetic process, what are the substances need that maybe enzymes, otherwise the basic substance, basic material what are the materials is needed for cell replication. All those things has been pre-checked, otherwise pre-preparative phase, that is called as G1 phase. So it is called as pre-synthetic phase. Once after synthesis happen, it must be divided. So in our defense system, otherwise in the bacterial, the cells replication system, the one of the defense process is there. Before entering into the cell division, that means exact mitotic process, it's a checking process there. The checking process is happen on G2 phase. The G2 phase is nothing but post-synthetic phase. So in that phase, whether the entire chromosomes are synthesized or not, whether it is correct or not, if any mistake is means how to it's going to correct, the entire correction process, correction and verification process going to happen on in G2 phase. So once the G2 phase is completed, once the cell is going to G1, then S phase, and G2 phase, then it's enter into M phase, means mitotic phase. So this is three process called as interphase. This one is mitotic phase. In this mitotic phase, exactly, it has been divided into 4 steps: prophase, metaphase. In between pro-metaphase is there, then anaphase and telophase. In this step, the condensed chromosomes is going to cleave. So the first one is nuclear membrane is going to, the nuclear membrane is going to, you can see that. So the once nucleus membrane is going to dissolve, then is going to arrange in center side, then it's going to cleave, then it's entirely cleaved into 2 different cells. These are the 4 important steps that happen during the cell division process, exactly in mitotic phase. So what is exactly DNA replications? This is the example for eukaryotic cells. So we know that this is a eukaryotic. Just imagine this is a eukaryotic cell. It's having a nucleus. So nucleus is having a chromosomes. This is a replicated chromosome. You have seen here. This is replicated chromosomes. You can maximize the chromosomes. Exactly what is there means. It is a nothing but it's a DNA double helix. So the number of DNA, long chain DNA double helix, has been wrapped with histones, because it's a long chain. We have to condense the entire chromosomes, then only it's going to compactly arrange on nucleus. So it's going to wrap with the histones proteins. So the histones are, it's going to arrange, it's a tight bond, then it's going to arrange is here. Then it's going to arrange in the extended form, then finally it's condensed in single chromosomes. So this is a single chromosomes. During cell replication is going to multiply. This is a scenario. So now we want to know that how the exactly the DNA is going to replicate. So this is the picture is going to explain the exact DNA replication process, because here itself it's a various enzymes has been involved for the DNA replication process. So we know that the DNA chain, it's simply the 2 chain is there, 5 chain and 3 dash. 2 different chain is there. The 5 chain and it's finished with 3 dash. Here 3 and 5 dash. So first the in a DNA replication process, it's totally differ in eukaryotes and prokaryotes. Okay, that's a totally different, because in prokaryotes it's having a circular DNA. The DNA has been simply scattered on the cytoplasmic region, so it's a circular DNA. But in eukaryotes the scene is different, because it's a not a circular DNA, it's condensed with histone proteins. So whatever it is, you don't confuse with those things. You just imagine this is a one small sequence of DNA, how it's going to start, how it's going to finish. So the DNA replication process is done by one important enzyme. That enzyme is called as DNA polymerase enzyme. Particularly the subtype is 3. This enzyme is very, very essential for the DNA replication process. You can see here this enzyme is having a 2 clamps, B clamps. That means it's a sliding clamp. You can see here, this one clamp, this is another one clamp. This is a 2 clamp is there. So this 2 clamp is going to hold the 2 chains of DNA, because the DNA is having a 2 chain. It's going to cleave the 2 chain. The cleaved DNA chain is going to bind with 2 different clamps. That's the first step. Here another one phenomena thing is the problem. What is the problem means? The DNA polymerase is always is going to make a formation. The chain formation is always in one direction. That means you can see here it's always started with 5 to 3 dash direction. Actually this is 3 dash direction. In parallelly the 5 dash chain has been arranged. So it's always start with 5, then it's going to end with 3 direction. So this is a standard rule, like a max formula. We can't able to change it. The DNA formation is always started with the polymerase enzyme. It's always started with 5 dash. So that based upon this principle, what is the problem is there means the the DNA chain is cleaved means the one side is normal because it's having a actually it's finished with that 3 dash. So it's as usual it's going to start the chain formation. So it's going to forward chain reaction is going to happen. The chain is going to synthesis with forward direction, no problem at all. But in opposite chain, what is the problem here? This is chain is going to synthesis based upon our formula always started with 5 to 3 dash. So it can't able to synthesize with this chain. So what's happened? It's lead to form a lagging stand. Lagging stand means to overcome this issue, what's the thing is there that enzyme polymerase enzyme is going to fold the lagging stand and it's going to make a primer. The primer is formed with the help of primer RNA primer enzyme. So this RNA primer is going to form a short sequence of DNA chain. So from this primer, your DNA polymerase is going to synthesize the chain based upon the standard formula, starting with 5 dash to 3 dash. So this is a thing that has problem has been overcome. So apart from that, the one is a fast starting material itself, it's a problem. What is the thing means? We have a DNA chain. The DNA chain is must be bounded together because it's a two chain is going to attach together. It's a double helix. So we want to cleave the DNA chain. That is a first primary step. So for those process, we have to create the positive supercoiling. That means we have given some pressure on the particular site of the DNA. Then only we can able to cleave the chain. So the DNA gyrase enzyme, that's one of the responsible enzyme to prevent the damage of the DNA chain, because during the DNA cleavage process is going to create the pressure. So the DNA gyrase enzyme to produce the positive supercoiling to avoid the DNA breakage. So the next another one enzyme, helicase enzyme. That helicase enzymes it's responsible for to cleave the chain. The helicase is going to cleave the double stranded DNA into two single strand DNA. Immediately after that, your primase enzyme is going to form a primer to overcome the lagging stand issues. So the primer is going to form, the primer is going together when it's going to reach the second clamp of DNA polymerase enzyme. When it's going to bind with the second clamp of DNA polymerase enzyme, that time the DNA is going to synthesize. In the parallel side, opposite direction, no problem at all, no need of primers. So the synthesis, DNA synthesis is going to start as usual. When it's going to cleave, automatically is going to start. Only the problem is happen on the lagging stand. So the primers is going to help the formation of DNA chain. Here another one problem is there. So when it's the chain completion is going to stop, when it's the DNA replication is going to end. Here in lagging stand, the DNA arrangements, it's not formation due to the like a chain. It's arranged as a small fragments because the primer is going to form some specific area, specific intervals. So the DNA formation started with one primer to another primer. You can see here, this is one primer, this is another one primer. So this automatically the DNA is going to arrange together up to next primer. So whenever the primer is going to place on the DNA chain, this is some of unwanted substance. So the primer, particularly the primer has been removed. So the removed by the DNA polymerase 1 enzyme, the DNA polymerase 1 enzyme that is responsible for remove those primers then it's going to repair the primer, because the primer once is replaced means it's having a nick. So that nick has been filled with fresh nucleotides, base pairs. So that those base pairs are is going to arrange. Then nick also is going to fixed by the DNA ligase enzymes. The DNA polymerase enzyme is going to repair the primer, is going to replace the primer. After forming a DNA also, the filled place is having a nick. That nick has been ligated with DNA ligase. Primer has been removed. That primer has been filled with some of the fresh nucleotide. Even though the nucleotide is filled, the continuous chain and the primer replace chains is having a nick. That means it's having a gap. So those have has been filled by the DNA ligase. That's nothing but is going to ligate the two chains. So when this chain is ligated, the process is going to end smoothly. So this is the exact DNA replication process. So this mitosis, all those things we have already seen. Yeah. So the next one is this is a mitosis process. We know that. The next one is meiosis process. It's somewhat different. So normally we know that during cell division process, it's produced the same number of same identical um, daughter cells with same genetic information. But in meiosis process, the scene is different. If you are our cell, best example, your human cell is undergoing the mitosis process, means the 23 pair of chromosomes has been passed into the daughter cells. But in meiosis process, that's a different. The 23 pair of chromosomes has been organism is going to pass into only 23 chromosomes. Here, it's end of the things is going to produce 4 different cells. In mitosis, only 2 cells with same identical. But here, 4 different cells and half of the chromosomes. What is the need of this meiosis process? Means meiosis process. This meiosis process mostly happen on the our in ova and sperm, particularly in not particularly. This meiosis process happen only on sex sperm cells and ova, because it's produce the genetic variations. So what is happen exactly means, during this process, the first process is common, the same things. It's converted into the 2 different the chromosomes. The 23 chromosomes pair of chromosome has been multiplied. So the 46 chromosomes has been doubled together. Okay, so that's the first step. So this is a 46 chromosomes has been doubled. So 96 chromosomes, but is having attached. So 46 chromosomes are doubled, but it is attached. So in mitosis process, what's happened in next step, that 46 chromosomes, the doubled chromosomes are cleaved into 2 cells. That means each 46 chromosomes has been divided into 2 different cells. But this here, what is the thing is there, the 46 chromosomes has been doubled, but it is arranged together. You can see here, it's going to condense together. It's going to share, otherwise is going to exchange the DNA sequence. That means genetic information is going to exchange together. The 46 chromosomes has been doubled, the both chromosomes has been conjoined together. So it's going to exchange the genetic informations. The place is called as chymostat. So this genetic information, you can see that these are 2 different chromosomes. The same chromosomes has been doubled, so it's attached together. It's going to exchange the genetic informations. You can see here, this is the genetic information has been exchanged place. It's that's a process is responsible for the diversity. Otherwise is going to, the genetic information is going to differ for each and every unique cell in spermatozoa and ova. That's the reasons. Even we have our sisters or brothers, otherwise even twins case also, if it is a disygotic twins also, they are different in physical character and physical and psychological characters due to this genetic difference, because the chromosomes are different. If you are our sperm, otherwise in ova, it's saying thousands of thousands or lakhs of lakh cells is there, and lakhs of lakh cells is having indigenous unique genetic information. Each cell it's never identical with another cell. That's a reason it's each and every zygote, otherwise the person's the genetic information differ and physical characteristics differ. So here the scene is that's the first step. With the help of chymista, the genetic sequence is going to exchange. Then that 46 chromosomes has been divided into 23 chromosomes. That means uh, multiplied 23 chromosomes. Then now here you can see here the 23 pair chromosomes are divided into two different cells. The each chromosomes are already doubled. In the next process, that exact the 23 chromosomes has been enter into the mitotic space. So it has been divided into 23 into 4. So here it's going to for the one cell is going to divide into 4 cells with half chromosomes. This is different process. Actually, this is not involved in your chemotherapy chapter. This is a common things you must understand. So this is the process. So apart from that, you know that the gene, yeah, we said our genes, it's mostly present on the DNA chain. The DNA chain is nothing but it's having our gene genetic informations. So in genetic informations, it's having a both junk files also. It's having junk files. You can see there the genetic information, the genetic area, it's having majorly divided into two regions, intron and exon regions. The intron is a junk region. It's like a junk files, catchy files. So that is, it doesn't having any information. It's just going to form a makeup files. So during processing of mRNA, the introns is going to remove the exact genetic information. The exons region is going to conjoin together. It's covered by cap and tail. Then it's relieved from the nucleus. So once it's really, it's going. This is the exact transcription process from the DNA. From the DNA, it's going to release. So the released mRNA is going to comes to the ribosomal place, ribosomes. So based upon the genetic informations codon region, it's going to form a protein. This is a process. For in virus, that is totally different, because the virus is mostly it's having a RNA, it doesn't having a DNA. So those viral RNA, it's going to transmitted into the host DNA. Then it's going to multiply into DNA, viral DNA. Then it's going to produce more number of virus replication process. So these are the basic concepts. I can conclude here because the meeting is going to close now. Time up. So in next some remaining things we are going to discuss in next class.